Good day. Today I'll be explaining my instructional module in oral communication in context. So the learning outcome of this module is that the students will be able to explain the relationship between communication and culture, and it will also be achieved through the three learning objectives that I have outlined in my instructional module. The first learning objective is that the students will be able to explain cultural norms that may lead to communication misunderstandings across different cultures and contexts. And the next learning objective is that the students will be able to reflect on the importance of understanding and respecting diverse cultural practices in intercultural communication. And lastly, the students will be able to analyze how misunderstandings arise in intercultural communication and practice resolving these through respectful communication. So for the learning experiences of the students, I took into account the fact that they have limited access to the internet and devices, which is why most of the activities are more pen and paper. While for the last activity, which is the video presentation, the video will be played or presented by the teacher during the class time so that the students can watch this video together. So the module begins with a motivational activity where the students will picture themselves in a situation where they are the subject of a cultural misunderstanding. So this encourages them to reflect on how different cultural expectations can influence communication. So after activating the students' thinking about the role of cultural norms, expectations in communication, the students will then be led to examine examples of intercultural misunderstandings and analyze the underlying cultural norms that influence communication. So in this part of the instructional module, there are 3 case examples where misunderstandings arise due to different cultural norms, and each case will allow the students to engage with how cultural values shape communication behaviors. And so after analyzing the case examples, the students will then be prompted to make sense of the various cultural norms and values that may affect communication. So I provided some key ideas that the students can reflect on, but these key ideas are also what I assume that the students have learned in the previous learning experiences. So after the activate phase and the analysis phase. So the students here will be asked to reflect on a situation where they are the ones who misunderstood someone else due to cultural differences. And finally, for the final learning experience, the teacher will have to present or play the video that is linked in the instructional modules. And the students will also be allowed to take notes while watching the video. So the syllabus that this instructional module is based on, the context of the students, they have learning notebooks or workbooks for OCC. And so I pictured that this final activity will serve as a student's seat work for the session. So they are to answer the guide questions in relation to what they learned from the previous learning experiences and from what they noted while watching the video. And then the self-reflection part is an extension of what they realized in the previous learning experiences. And I believe that these learning experiences, the students are presented with varied activities that will allow them to explain the relationship between communication and culture, achieving the learning outcome.